Well, it's always been a huge issue in British politics. It is, of course, the National Health Service, which matters to each and every single one of us. And there can be no doubt that over the last couple of years, there have been increasing doubts about the system and the way in which it works. And rising waiting lists, I would suggest, are virtually at the top of that queue. Now, the PM, Rishi Sunak, one of his key 5 pledges is to reduce NHS waiting lists. But that's not going too well, because there are currently 7.6 million people who are waiting for some form of NHS procedure. Now, the Labour Party, perfectly cleverly, putting in freedom of information requests, have released today that 121,000 people have died whilst they were on the NHS waiting lists and not treated within the specified time of 18 weeks. Politically, very clever. Let's listen to senior Labour politician Emily Thornberry.
The NHS Constitution says that you have a right to see a doctor within 18 weeks, and that isn't happening. And people are dying in pain and fear, hoping that there's going to be help coming, and that help doesn't come. Now, the NHS was not behaving like this when there was a Labour government. I'm sorry to say this, but it is the truth. Over the last 13 years, we have seen the way in which the NHS has been diminished under this Conservative government, and they have no plan for doing anything about it.
Well, forgive me for having a touch of déjà vu, but it begins to feel a bit like 1997. Yes, of course, the Tories have been in for 18 years. Yes, of course, there was back to basics and all the sleaze. But actually, I think the biggest factor that got Blair that massive majority back in 97 was that people trusted Labour far more to run the NHS than they did the Conservative Party. And that's the game that Labour are playing right now. Are they sincere in what they say? Is it fair to put this death toll on waiting times, on the Conservative Party? But above all, would Labour do better? Please give me your thoughts. Farage@gbnews.com.